Thanks for joining us for this look at the best original reporting from KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Coming up, the story of El Cortito. California farm workers are celebrated in a new mural that depicts their fight against a back-breaking tool. The fight against COVID-19. Scientists who quickly mobilized at the start of the pandemic show us the work that continues to understand the changing virus. And brewing up something new. Escondido's Stone Brewery lets us in on some of the work happening with Sapporo after their recent takeover. And we start with the story of a local mayor fearing for her safety. But Montserrat Caballero says she won't back down in serving the residents of Tijuana. She talked with KPBS border reporter Gustavo Solis about the threats to her and her family.
Tijuana City Hall is actually called Palacio Municipal, which translates to Municipal Palace. This imposing cement structure is the seat of Tijuana's political power, and that seat belongs to the mayor, Montserrat Caballero. She says this seat isn't just for fancy photo ops, it comes with a heavy cost. Caballero says that in a city like Tijuana, and in a country like Mexico, elected officials understand the risk of holding public office. She should know. Tijuana's mayor and her son are moving into a military base next week. The decision came at the suggestion of the Mexican National Guard after Caballero received multiple death threats. Caballero says she got voicemails from men threatening to kill her family unless she resigned. The mayor's move renews focus on Tijuana's safety and the status of Mexican democracy.
But I think it raises more interesting questions just about the quality of democracy in Mexico, right? And who's going to run then for office.
Cecilia Farfan is head of research at the Center for U.S. and Mexican Studies at UC San Diego.
Like when you have this type of situation happen, then it becomes a question of like, well, if I was thinking of maybe running to be mayor of Tijuana, if these are the security conditions now, am I really interested, in running for that?
This environment also casts doubt on elected officials who aren't being threatened. Are they in cahoots with criminal organizations? Caballero is certainly trying to portray her current situation that way. Tijuana's mayor says that her administration has taken 1,700 guns off the streets and arrested more than 60 murder suspects. She claims mayors in other cities aren't being threatened. She says that if she were actually in league with cartels, she wouldn't be in this situation. Despite the threats against her, Caballero wants the people of Tijuana to believe the city's still safe. She says those who don't go looking for trouble won't find any.
Tijuana es una ciudad segura para el ciudadano común.
Caballero says that 80% of homicides in Tijuana are tied to drug sales. More than 2,000 people were murdered in Tijuana last year, and just in the first 5 months of this year, 769 people have been murdered. However, Farfan says that there's a tendency in Mexico to minimize violent crime as something that only happens to bad people.
When you turn it just into, just criminals killing each other, then unfortunately there's, as you said, no incentive to really address it.
People in Mexico tend to believe that as long as crime stays in working class neighborhoods and out of the rich and tourist areas, then it's under control. Public and private boosters have poured millions of dollars into Tijuana's manufacturing, medicine, tourism, and culinary sectors. News that the mayor is moving to a military barracks could scare off potential investors and tourists. Again, here's Farfan from the Center of U.S. and Mexico Studies.
I think, unfortunately, Tijuana is part of the border narrative that is always casted in this perpetual zone in crisis.
It's worth noting that Tijuana is a city of 2 million people. The vast majority of them have no interaction with crime. Caballero is trying to project an image of strength and security. She says she's not afraid. She's still attending public events and walking on the streets of Tijuana. She has no plans to step down. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
Climate change is becoming more of a factor in the day-to-day work done by local governments. So how are elected leaders doing on this issue? Eric Anderson has the results from the region's second annual environmental report card.
Partner with us to understand.
A's and B's dominated the report card with just one failing grade, former City Council member Chris Cate. The review measured votes on key environmental issues in front of the City Council and Board of Supervisors last year. Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer got an A for the second year in a row.
We must strive to keep sustainability at the forefront of all that we do in San Diego County. This means that we must continue fighting for these priorities, even and especially in the face of opposition from entrenched special interests.
The evaluation considered votes on fossil fuels, stormwater, and biodiversity. The report card also looked at housing, budgets, and climate action. Climate Defenders Action Fund member Cecilia Aguillon says the positive reviews are good, but
we're not there yet. Actually, we are falling behind, and we need to step it up if we want to make meaningful contributions to ending climate change.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria doesn't vote, but he was evaluated on 15 key issues. He got a C like last year. Hammond Climate Solution Foundation's Tara Hammond says middle-of-the-road grade means he did well some of the time and not so well at other times.
The mayor made some progress on climate action in 2022. However, there were some key areas that we felt like delayed the implementation of our climate action plan and didn't get us close to meeting our climate action goals.
Officials with the mayor's office said the report ignores some of the mayor's climate-related actions and uses questionable methodology. They say Gloria is the region's leading climate champion when it comes to actual policies. The report card organizers say transparency is important. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
The story behind a new mural in Chicano Park is all about the sacrifices made by farm workers. KPBS race and equity reporter Katie Hyson tells us how their physical pain led to political change.
Cars whiz by on the freeway above. Mario Chacon, the lead artist of the El Cortito mural, gives a sneak peek to a curious family.
And so you have the past, the consequence, the struggle, and then at the bottom, the victory.
Dividing the mural in two is an arched spinal column that mirrors the backs of the farm workers toiling in the fields above.
The guy on the far right is Mo when he was young.
As a lawyer with the California Rural Legal Assistance, Maurice Mo Jourdain led the fight against El Cortito, the short-handled hoe used by farm workers in California. The workers called it El Brazo del Diablo, the devil's arm. Its 8-inch handle forced them to stoop over all day. Jourdain says Cesar Chavez told him he should fight against El Cortito, but it was a chance meeting in a Salinas Valley pool hall in 1970 that convinced him.
One of the farm workers had a bad back, and I asked him what happened, and he told me that it's just from using the Cortito.
The farm worker went to his truck and brought back the Cortito. Jourdain agreed it seemed bad, but the worker challenged him.
You have to learn to know how bad it is, you have to go use it. And so, after some encouragement, pressure, I went to the field to use the Cortito. And I remember driving down the Salinas Valley at dawn and spending the day bent over, hoeing. And I realized that day it was a torture, and we had to do something to get rid of it.
Jourdain went to the law library and found no laws around the Cortito.
I learned that from doctors, that it was worse than just the pain. The farm workers' backs were being destroyed.
Together with co-counsel Marty Glick, he filed a lawsuit. Doctors testified that farm workers were retiring young with destroyed backs, often permanently disabled and in wheelchairs. Stooping over degenerated the discs in their spine until they ruptured.
And to the growers, I learned in all of it, is the farm workers were just a tool. They were just like the hoe. If the farm worker became disabled because of back injury, they just went to Mexico and got another one to take their place.
Jourdain says growers claimed the short handle was needed for efficiency. But when Jourdain and Glick surveyed growers across the country, they found the same work was being done with a long-handled hoe everywhere but Arizona and California. Jourdain has another theory. El Cortito was about control.
I can remember one worker telling me, the slave owners had whips or guns they used to keep workers working, and here they have the Cortito.
The Cortito kept workers bent low at a time when Cesar Chavez and others were trying to unionize them to stand up, and it made them easier to supervise.
You could have one supervisor, one foreman, supervising 50 or 60 workers when you knew who was resting were those who were standing up.
Farm workers organized across the state, including at Chicano Park. They risked their livelihoods to testify during the years-long legal battle. The Supreme Court of California banned the short-handled hoe in 1975.
It was more likely the lawyer than...
Remembering the win moves Jourdain, but he puts it in perspective.
We got rid of the Cortito, but that's just one little part of a farm worker's life.
Now retired, he still speaks of all the work left to do. Farm workers in California are still dying in the field of heat exhaustion, a preventable illness.
What we have to do is get beyond the belief that farm workers are just tools and it doesn't matter that it's harmful.
At the mural, Jourdain poses with the family. Instead of saying cheese, the children say, "Sí se puede." Yes, it can be done.
My hero.
No.
Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
Notable Black American painter Kehinde Wiley is now featured at San Diego's Timken Museum. He gained fame in recent years after painting official portraits of the Obamas. KPBS arts producer and editor Julia Dixon Evans shows us more of his work.
Kehinde Wiley rose to superstar fame after his official portrait of President Obama was unveiled in 2018. But the artist has been rewriting history and representation in art for nearly 2 decades. Gaidi Finney is executive director of the San Diego Museum of African American Fine Art.
It's always been at the forefront of the current art world. For instance, he's like, we believe, the Black American or Black rock star artist.
This painting, equestrian portrait of Prince Tommaso of Savoy-Carignan, is huge. And with an ornate golden frame and vivid background, it's eye-catching even from far away. A Black man dressed in modern clothing rides a horse. It mimics a work by 17th century painter Antony van Dyck. This is a through line in Wiley's art. He takes traditional old paintings and replaces the characters with Black models and other people of color, reclaiming concepts of heroism and glory.
He's thinking about how those particular figures have been excluded from the history of art. He's putting them into the poses of some of those great paintings, and he's making them as vibrant as possible.
The Timken intentionally placed the work in a gallery full of Dutch and Flemish paintings from the 17th century. Side by side and literally outsizing the museum's world-famous Rembrandt and another work by Antony van Dyck, who's the artist who inspired Wiley's new twist. Cartwright says this room in the museum is basically an art history lesson.
This is one of the great places in the country to study 17th century Dutch and Flemish art, and introducing Wiley into that conversation, I just think makes it a much more interesting place to be.
The Timken is always free to the public, which is also fundamental to the mission of the San Diego African American Museum of Fine Art. It's a museum without a physical space, so they rely on collaborations with other museums, like this one with the Timken. Their aim is to get important Black art in front of as many people as possible.
Our mission is to bring the best art in the world to San Diego. This is American history.
The painting will be on view at the Timken through next May. Julia Dixon Evans, KPBS News.
And here are some of the most popular stories this week at kpbs.org. San Diego has a new place to go for people experiencing homelessness. You can see our coverage of the new safe sleeping location that's now open in Golden Hill. If you plan to be outside this weekend, then be prepared. Experts give us advice on how to stay safe while hiking. There's also a lot of interest in the pushback to ease traffic in Pacific Beach. Another thing that's popular right now in San Diego is community choice energy. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson has the numbers behind a big shift in how SDG&E customers are choosing to spend their money.
More than 80% of SDG&E's customers now buy electricity from either San Diego Community Power or the North County's Clean Energy Alliance. That number should jump to 90% next year when Oceanside and Vista make the transition. The two nonprofit agencies promise to buy cheaper power from renewable sources.
San Diego Gas and Electric will continue our primary mission of being an infrastructure company and providing best-in-class customer service.
San Diego Gas and Electric will maintain the grid, and the company will still handle billing. In fact, the online accounts are getting an overhaul, which breaks up the bill into 3 parts.
One would be a delivery charge. That's the pipes and wires that get the electricity to your home.
2 is the actual cost of electricity bought by the CCAs. And finally, taxes and public purpose program fees. San Diego Community Power is the larger of the 2 power buying agencies, with more than 900,000 customers.
At the end of the day, I believe it's a good thing for the community as well as the customer base, because we're a nonprofit, so most of our profits are going to go back into the community.
California lawmakers cleared the way for nonprofits to take on that power buying role more than 2 decades ago. But interest in the idea surged in recent years as electricity prices spiraled upward. There are 25 agencies, including the 2 in San Diego, which buy power for California residents in more than 200 cities, towns, and counties. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
3 years ago, the COVID pandemic was gathering steam. That's when a San Diego company called Helix started processing thousands of COVID tests a day as they genetically mapped the mutating virus. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge tells us how Helix partnered with San Diego County to try to keep it contained.
You might have heard about PCR COVID testing.
Mark Laurent shows me around a sprawling set of labs that Helix just opened in Sorrento Valley. The machinery we see takes Laurent back to the days of the pandemic.
For COVID, we ran them on these PCR machines here that essentially allows us to give us a yes or no answer. Do you have COVID or do you not have COVID?
But a thumbs up or down on a COVID test wasn't the only thing Helix learned from those samples.
Not on these machines. What we would do is we would take then the samples that actually were positive, people who had COVID, and then we would take them back to the beginning of the process and do what we call viral sequencing, which is essentially look at the detailed genome of each virus and understand how that virus has evolved and essentially understand what variant it is.
Mark Laurent is the VP of Operations at Helix. The genomics company partnered with San Diego County and others in 2020 to provide COVID testing to the public. During the pandemic and since then, it has also tracked COVID virus variants as the virus has turned from Alpha to Delta to Omicron and most recently to XBB.
At the peak of the pandemic, we were running about 30,000 samples a day. And that's a mind-boggling number.
He says the company had to hire more than 200 additional people, and it used a robotic testing system to meet the demand. A lot of tests coming in the door at Helix were from San Diego County. Nick Mascione is the director of the county's Health and Human Services Agency. He says early in the pandemic, it was clear the county's labs simply couldn't process enough COVID tests. Mascione says he asked just about everybody he knew how he could solve that testing dilemma.
I reached out to my friend Joe Panetta at Biocom. I said, are there any companies doing this? He mentioned a couple of them, and he also mentioned Helix.
Mascione says the arrangement set up with Helix was the foundation of the county's pandemic health system. COVID testing led to COVID tracing to track the virus in the population. Ultimately, mass vaccination centers like the one outside Petco Park gave thousands of people their COVID shots every day. Mascione now looks back on the testing partnership between Helix and San Diego County as novel and successful.
It was a public-private partnership, right, for the public good.
That partnership has ended up being worth more than $88 million in county contracts with Helix. Mascione insisted the price they paid during the pandemic, about $50 per test, was a good deal. It was about half of what other companies were asking for. Today, Helix is sequencing the genomes of both people and viruses in cooperation with health systems across the U.S. Shishi Lo is the company's head of infectious diseases. She says the coronavirus is pretty slow-moving compared to the flu, but it moved pretty quick during the pandemic.
I think when the COVID pandemic happened, there were just so many people getting infected that even if the base rate of mutation was lower, there was a lot more opportunity for the virus to replicate. And so you can have a lower mutation rate, but more replication, more infections, and you can also generate the same amount of change.
Today, Lowe says the latest dominant COVID subvariant called XBB has been in the U.S. since the beginning of the year. So far, it has not posed a serious threat.
There's enough pre-existing immunity, whether through vaccination or infection, that it would take a lot to cause a huge surge again. But we should also be prepared for the worst.
COVID samples continue to come to Helix for testing. Samples are also tested for other respiratory viruses like the flu. Mark Laurent says their lab will soon test for another contagious disease that's seen a recent outbreak, the virus called Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
Big things are happening at the Stone Brewery in Escondido. Nearly a year after being acquired by Sapporo, the brewery is ready to start releasing locally brewed Sapporo beers to the U.S. market. As KPBS North County reporter Alexander Wynn shows us, it involves making some big changes.
Enter through the gargoyle guarding the entrance of Stone Brewing Company in Escondido.
The gargoyle is our protector of our beer.
You see a smooth operation.
And it's one of the things that impressed Sapporo.
When the Japanese beer giant was looking for another U.S.-based brewery to brew its beer, it was looking for one that had the capacity to quickly get the product onto the market. Stone Brewing Company met that requirement.
When Sapporo was looking for a partner, they were looking for someone that could expand and brew Sapporo, but also a brand that they could help further develop. And so they fully embrace what Stone is, and we continue to innovate into the future. And this is where kind of all the magic happens.
Sean Monahan is the Chief Operating Officer for Stone and Sapporo Brewing. He says while Stone had the capacity to start brewing Sapporo beer right away, there was still a learning curve to get the recipe just right.
We did our first big brew, and I'll tell you, it failed. Various lessons learned, it just didn't scale the way we thought it would. So we actually had to scrap that initial brew.
He says Sapporo's core process of brewing beer was already similar to how Stone was brewing its beer. But the main difference is the yeast.
It's always underappreciated by many people is how important the yeast is.
Stone is using the same yeast used in Japan. After nearly 10 months and several tries later, Stone is releasing the first batches of locally brewed Sapporo beer.
This is imported Sapporo, and this is Sapporo brewed in Escondido. They look exactly the same, they brew exactly the same, and this is most important, they taste exactly the same.
The only difference is that it tastes crispier because it's fresher, being locally brewed. It will be a few more months before locally brewed Sapporo will be available on store shelves, but you can find it at each of Stone's bistros under the experimental lager labels. Stone still needs to upgrade its facility to handle brewing both Sapporo and its own line of beers.
We're investing about $20 million in capital to expand the Escondido brewery. So while, yes, some of the equipment may be coming from overseas, but a lot of the construction and the labor is going to be right here in the San Diego market.
And that means more jobs for the local economy. Stone is looking to hire more than 100 positions within the next 6 months. Alexander Wynn, KPBS News.
An all-star Tijuana baseball team is fighting for a spot in the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. KPBS border reporter Gustavo Solis visited the team as players prepared for their final qualifying tournament.
Tijuana Municipal is a local institution. This Little League has 144 teams, 1,800 players, a 9-acre complex filled with baseball diamonds and batting cages, even cross-training and sports psychologists. The league also has a proud history of producing Major League Baseball players.
Adrian Gonzalez, Alejandro Kirk, Jonathan Aranda, so Oscar Robles.
And Gonzalez cracks one to deep left field. That'll win the game, and it heads out of here.
That's right. Padres legend Adrian Gonzalez played Little League right here in Tijuana. One of the fields is even named after him. Alberto Mejia is the league president. He says it's common for kids in San Diego to play baseball south of the border.
And you know what? We have a lot of people that cross the border every day just to come and play because they know the level that we play over here in the league is awesome.
This year's All-Star team features kids who have been playing together since they were 3 years old. The team dominated the regional tournament, allowing 0 runs and scoring 37 on their way to the championship.
The team behind us, they are a very good team. The coaches are super smart. They have a lot of experience.
If this team wins the national tournament in Monterrey, they'll represent Mexico in the Little League World Series. Francisco Fimbres is the coach. He also coached the 2013 Little League team that made it all the way to the semifinal game against Japan. He says that returning to Williamsport would give Tijuana a second chance to win the World Series. Why does Tijuana produce so many good baseball players? Fimbre says that it's the local competition. There are almost 2,000 players in this league, and they all compete at a very high level.
La competencia interna, créeme que es muy fuerte.
He also says there aren't any star players on this team. No big egos. The players practically grew up together. Fimbre says they're more like brothers than teammates.
Aquí no hay estrellitas, aquí no pensamos en un jugador, sino que son los 13, ¿no?
And that's one message that the players have really bought into. Here's their response when asked who the best player on the team is.
Somos todos somos uno.
All of us, says Jonathan Juarez. We are all one unit. Another player, Jorge Cota, watches the Williamsport tournament every year on TV. He says actually getting to play in it would be pretty awesome.
De que estaría muy padre ir a jugar en Estados Unidos y pues en un torneo tan importante.
As in San Diego, Little League in Tijuana is a family affair. Parents travel with the team. They come prepared to cheer. They bring drums and have multiple chants and songs ready to go. This is one of their favorites.
La porra de Tijuana. La porra de Tijuana. Se mueve para allá, se mueve para acá. La porra de Tijuana.
Miriam Gonzalez Perez is one of the team moms. Seeing just how hard the kids train inspires the parents to put in just as much effort, if not more.
Vemos el esfuerzo que hacen los niños y como ellos le echan ganas, nosotros tenemos que echarle el doble de ganas.
It's a sacrifice. Parents spend their entire weekends going to baseball tournaments, and traveling with the team isn't cheap. They set up a GoFundMe page to raise money to cover travel expenses. The national tournament begins July 1st. If they win that, Tijuana will represent Mexico in the Little League World Series in August.
1, 2, 3. Uno de Tijuana!
Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
And we hope that you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thanks for joining us.